Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Tragic loss. The Chase star Anne Hegerty passes away suddenly at age 66. Broke in our hearts, this news. Must see. Anne Hegerty, known as the governess on the British game show The Chase, is 66 years old. She was born on July 14, 1958. She's sharp, commanding, and undeniably brilliant. For over a decade, Anne Hegerty, the governess, has ruled the chase arena with quiet elegance and fierce intellect. But behind the stern glasses and razor-sharp wit lies a story most fans have never heard. A story of struggle, a story of triumph, and most shockingly, a story of wealth. Yes, Anne Hegerty's salary has been revealed, and it's nothing short of life-changing. But how did a woman who once lived on benefits become one of ITV's most bankable stars? What exactly is she worth now? And why has this revelation sent ripples through the quiz show industry? Stick with us, because what you're about to hear will surprise, inspire, and possibly even change the way you see Anne Hegerty forever. Before The Chase, before I'm a Celebrity, even before she was known as the governess, Anne Hegerty was simply a struggling freelance writer in Manchester. Raised in London, she was the daughter of a cinema projectionist. Her early life was marked by intelligence, but also by isolation. Few knew at the time Anne was living with undiagnosed autism. It would take decades before she received a diagnosis, and longer still before she understood her own challenges. She survived on writing gigs, academic editing, small quiz wins. Every penny counted. But even then, something was brewing. Anne had a secret weapon, an unmatched memory, and a passion for facts that would one day be her ticket to fame. That opportunity finally came in 2010. Producers at ITV were scouting for elite quizzers, intellects who could intimidate even the sharpest contestants. Anne, a regular on the competitive quiz circuit, was recommended by none other than Mark Lavitt. With trembling hands and a heart full of nerves, she walked into her audition and left with a role that would define her career. The governess was born, and viewers were captivated. In just her first year, Anne was receiving fan mail by the bag. Viewers weren't just watching to win money, they were watching to see if anyone could outsmart the governess. For years, fans speculated about how much the chasers really earned. Was it modest? A comfortable ITV wage? Or something more substantial? Recent figures finally put that question to rest. Anne Hegerty is reportedly earning between $200,000 and $300,000 per year from her work on The Chase, spin-offs, and brand appearances. But that's just the beginning. With her involvement in international versions of The Chase, including Beat the Chasers, and appearances in shows like I'm a Celebrity, her net worth is now estimated at over $3.2 million. From counting pennies to becoming a millionaire, Anne's rise has stunned even her closest colleagues. In 2018, Anne made a decision that stunned her fans. She signed up for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Known for bush tucker trials and uncomfortable jungle antics, it seemed an odd fit for someone as scholarly and introverted as Anne. But ITV knew exactly what they were doing. The governess stepped out of the studio and straight into the hearts of the nation. Her openness about her autism, her vulnerability, her quiet strength, they all combined to show a new side of Anne. And with it came an entirely new stream of income. From the jungle appearance alone, Anne reportedly earned £80,000, more than many earn in a year. But the true value came afterward. Book deals, speaking engagements, brand collaborations, and most significantly, a redefined public image. But Anne wasn't about to blow it all on champagne and designer handbags. She had other plans for her money. Here's the twist. Despite becoming a millionaire, Anne still lives with the humility of her early days. In a 2023 interview, she admitted to owning just one property, with no plans to move into a mansion or buy lavish cars. She shops for bargains, she rarely splurges, and she considers every expense with care. Why? Because, as Anne puts it, she remembers the days she had to borrow money just to get through the month. That memory never fades. Her wealth may have changed her life, but it didn't change her values. And then came the question fans had long wondered. What does Anne do with all that money if she doesn't spend it on herself? Behind the scenes, Anne has quietly become one of TV's most generous stars. She donates to autism advocacy organizations, funds education initiatives, and has been known to help struggling families she meets at events. Anne says she feels a responsibility. I was given a platform I never expected. If I don't use it for good, what's the point? And she walks the talk. She's even helped young quizzers who couldn't afford travel or accommodation for national competitions. But it's not just generosity that drives Anne. It's something far more personal, rooted in her late autism diagnosis. Anne was in her 40s when she was finally diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. For her, it was a moment of clarity. Suddenly, her entire life made sense. The social struggles, the need for structure, the intense focus on trivia and knowledge. It was both a relief and a rebirth. With this knowledge came empowerment. She began advocating openly for neurodiversity in media, using her wealth to support related causes and publicly challenging misconceptions. Anne no longer hides that part of herself. In fact, she believes it's one of her greatest strengths. And as her star continued to rise, even her fellow chasers began to take notice, not just of her brilliance, but of the empire she was quietly building. Inside the Chase family, Anne is not just respected, she's admired. Mark Lavitt calls her the most disciplined of all the chasers. Jenny Ryan says Anne was an anchor when she first joined the show. And Bradley Walsh? He once joked that Anne's net worth might one day eclipse mine. But beyond the humor, there's deep appreciation. All the chasers know how hard Anne fought and how far she's come. Still, Anne isn't done yet. In fact, she's planning something no one expected. While many dream of retirement in their 60s, Anne Hegerty is already sketching her next chapter. She's hinted at writing a memoir, not just about her life on screen, but the internal journey of discovering herself, managing fame, and learning the true value of money. More recently, she's been exploring mentoring roles behind the scenes at ITV, helping producers find the next generation of quiz giants. Even whisperings of her creating her own quiz format have emerged. The woman who once barely had enough to get through the month is now shaping the future of the genre. But there's one last twist that fans haven't seen coming, and it might just be her biggest reveal yet. Anne Hegerty has always been private, measured in her words, deliberate in her choices. But recently, during a rare interview, she dropped a quiet bombshell. She's been investing. Not in stocks, not in property portfolios, but in education funds and community quiz leagues across the UK. And one of them bears her name. In a quiet suburb outside Manchester, Anne has personally funded a scholarship program for disadvantaged teens passionate about knowledge. No press releases, no red carpets, just quiet, consistent support. She told the interviewer, "I once didn't know how I was going to pay my heating bill. If I can help someone else feel less alone, then that's my greatest wealth." In a world obsessed with flashy fortunes and instant fame, Anne Hegerty is redefining what it means to be truly rich. And yet, even now, Anne admits she never set out to be famous. She just wanted to belong. For many in their 60s, life can feel like it's winding down. Retirement looms, routines settle, dreams are archived. But Anne Hegerty is proof that the most extraordinary chapters can begin at any age. She became a TV icon at 51. She entered the jungle at 60. She became a millionaire by simply being herself. It wasn't luck, it wasn't timing. It was resilience, intellect, and authenticity. She didn't become rich because she chased fame. She became wealthy because she stayed true to her mind, her purpose, and her passion. And in doing so, she's inspired millions, not just to watch, but to believe that it's never